I'm Rebecca Horwood, and I'm going to show you today how to make Rebecca's famous chocolate cake. So let's get started. To begin, I need to separate 2 eggs. To take the eggs right out of the fridge, I want them cold. What works for me is that I separate them by hand. I don't use the eggshell because I've had too many chances where I've broken the yolk. I'm using semi-sweet chocolate, and I find that using the finest chocolate makes such a difference in the end result of my cake. Next, add my butter, and I need to add a cup of boiling water. I've got a KitchenAid, I've got a stand mixer, I have a food processor, I have everything. Guess what? This cake is made by hand, and I'm going to be using a whisk. Need to add some vanilla. Just give that a little stir. I'm just going to beat for another minute. It doesn't hurt. You can beat this as long as you have muscles and power to do it, because it does take a little effort. Now I'm ready to add the sour cream. I want to take a little bit of time to incorporate my flour. And I find this works better if I incorporate in 3 parts. That looks about right. I'm going to taste this. I want to make sure I didn't forget anything. Yum. I need the egg whites to be stiff, but not dry. Now I begin my process of folding. Be fairly gentle, and we're almost ready to put it in the oven. I'm using a tube pan, and that's already been greased with unsalted butter and flour. And now I'm ready to put it in the oven. Now I put my timer on for 45 minutes. Now that my cake has been baked and it's cooled, I'm going to start prepping the icing. So I'm a AAA battery type of person. I work in the investment business, and what I did was I was the first woman investment advisor at my firm on Bay Street in 1980. Still in the business, wealth management now. I'm a director, I'm a partner, I'm a portfolio manager. So I want you to know, often I'm making this cake before I go to work, and I'm coming in with this perfectly cooked cake for the team. And this is Rebecca's famous chocolate cake. And I really believe that I should be on the Great Canadian Baking Show because I know how to take pressure. I'm in the investment business. I'm also a competitive ballroom dancer. And the most difficult baking I've ever done in my life is when my daughter Alexandra asked me to bake the famous cake for her wedding. And I spent quite a bit of time figuring out how I was going to bake a 3-layered, 35-pound chocolate cake. And you know what? I did it. And guess what? It was the greatest success, and people are still talking about it 3 years later. So I believe I belong on the Great Canadian Baking Show. And a special thanks to Mickey, my special helper.